Welcome back to the Recon Reviewers. Today we are watching The Fifth Element from 1997, directed by Luc Besson, who also did The Transporter, Leon the Professional, and The Messenger. The movie starts in 1914 and briefly shows Luke Perry as a character.
I have to say, this is one of my favorite movies. I used to watch this weekly when I was in high school.
Evil returns, so shall we.
This is Tommy Lister Jr. playing as the president, who was seen in the movie Friday and also The Dark Knight. And here we see Bruce Willis as Corbin Dallas, most famous for the Die Hard movies, which started in 1988, Unbreakable with Samuel L. Jackson in 2000, and Hudson Hawk as being one of his funnier ones from 1991. This is Milla Jovovich as Lilu, who has been seen in the Resident Evil movies, which started in 2002, and The Messenger, which was also directed by Luc Besson. Milla Jovovich came up with the idea for the bandage outfit, which she stated in an interview with Vogue.
I love the style. A futuristic look is just so great.
Luc Besson had his universe of The Fifth Element designed by French comic book artists Jean-Mobius Giraud and Jean-Claude Mézières. The comic book artists that he actually got to make this movie, they designed everything between the car to the cityscape, the ships, all of it. There's depth, there's detail.
Such great music, too.
The movie definitely has its own custom soundtrack.
Yeah.
Everything from scratch.
Any survivors?
And this is where Corbin Dallas first meets Lilu. Completely smitten right out the gate. Love it. The language that Luc Besson came up with for this movie is actually known as the Divine Language. It was an entire dictionary that composed of 300 different words that Milla Jovovich actually had to memorize. That's pretty impressive. And here is the late Ian Holm as Father Vito Cornelius, who's been seen in Alien in 1979 and the Lord of the Rings trilogy starting in 2001 with the Fellowship of the Ring. All of Ian Holm's previous roles have been very serious. One role that he's been in would probably be the most comedic, if not the only. This is Gary Oldman playing the character Zorg, who was also seen in the Dark Knight trilogy with the actor Tommy Lister Jr., who plays the president of the Fifth Element. Gary Oldman has also been in Leon the Professional from 1994, directed also by Luc Besson. I really love this gun.
With the Swiss Army knife and guns.
What's actually funny is that this movie came out in 97 and we have these devices as vacuum cleaners now. What's amazing is that it was science fiction back in 1997.
A lot of real technology does come from science fiction.
You are fired!
I do love this here.
Yeah.
The Chinese restaurant comes to you. All he has to do is open his window.
Major Dallas, you've been selected for a mission of the utmost importance.
This infamous line.
Sir, are you classified as human?
Negative. I am a meat popsicle.
Even after all of the movies that she's done, she still has little kids come up to her and just go, "Multipass."
Really?
She does.
Multipass.
I love how Chris Tucker just slides right into camera and it just becomes a complete cartoon. I love it.
Yeah, it's one of the best entrances.
This is Chris Tucker as Ruby Rod, who's also known for doing Rush Hour in 1998, and also with Tommy Lister Jr. in the movie Friday from 1995. The case that carried the film that was shot during the Diva Opera House scene scene was run over by a forklift. Fortunately, they had enough viable footage to cut together the entire scene. This whole opera musical is totally original, where the diva herself actually just hits these very high notes.
I think one thing I liked about this movie a lot was the use of orange. It's got an orange shirt and she's got orange hair, and it's pretty unique.
For this fight sequence here, an artificial leg was actually made for some of the high kicks used by Milla Jovovich here. Bruce Willis felt it would be boring to always do action films and wanted to do something different to challenge himself. He appreciated that Luc Besson made a 23rd century visual style with the 20th century type of attitude. Filming The Fifth Element was very organic, keeping the cameras rolling instead of shutting them off between takes.
Where did he learn to negotiate like that?
I wonder.
Bruce Willis even took a salary cut because of filming this movie was actually fun. All of the one-liners in here you just don't hear from anywhere else unless this movie is being quoted. The movie definitely has very quick humor. When Mel Brooks was asked what makes his movies so good, he responded simply by saying, "You need a script. You need to take your time with the script. You want to make sure the stories are there, the characters, everything. You cannot rush it." That being said, the fact that Luc Besson started working on this even as a novel at the age of 16 when he was in high school equivalent, that's impressive. I mean, naturally you're going to take a story like that and go through several revisions, until it's ultra perfect, but that is an incredible amount of time to actually solidify an entire story. It's not like nowadays how you can take a script, type in a brief synopsis of what that is, and then let artificial intelligence do the work. You can't do that. I mean, it would probably be anything that would come out of it, it would just be too dry, too recycled, both at the very least in reality. There was a lot happening. So much happens in The Fifth Element. You're constantly just going through this roller coaster of a ride. And I mean, it's a very thrilling, engaging movie.
Yeah, I think it's a great balance of entertainment, comedy, and action, and just good story, good lines, good one-ers.
It's all original from scratch. It's not borrowed, as in how you'll have, we're gonna do tributes to other movies or video games or so on and so forth. I mean, this is a completely different take as to what Luc Besson's vision of the future could be or should be. Mm-hmm. We don't need to go into a huge explanation as to what the limits of their warp drive or hyperdrive are. It's just overall impressive. The cast was phenomenal in here. They really carry the movie.
Yeah, I don't think there were any weak actors in this movie. Not as far as main actors.
The CGI, this movie also serves as an excellent example as to you don't need high amounts of CGI to sell the movie for you. Sometimes it's just the sets, sometimes it's just puppetry.
Yeah, I think the only real CGI that I saw that stuck out was the aliens. A few transitions between human form and alien form, but didn't take me out of the experience. I think this is just one of the best movies from the 90s. Obviously one of my personal favorites.
It surely was ahead of its time and definitely deserves its cult status.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Thank you for watching the Recon Reviewers. Please like and subscribe.